All right, this is Dr. Cooper, and I'm going to show you quickly how to use NotebookLM. Just be aware that NotebookLM is not turned on for the Maricopa Community College District, and you cannot use your school email address, the @maricopa.edu. But I think it's going to be a valuable tool regardless, so I'm going to help you out. First off, if you already have a personal Gmail account, I have one here that I'm logged into, you can use that. If you don't have a personal Gmail account or you don't want to use that account, let me know and I will create you a email address that you can use, an account that you can use with NotebookLM with my freshmancomp.com domain. So let me know what you prefer, either using a personal Gmail account or if you want me to set you up one. Now, once you log in, you'll come to a page. It won't have anything on here. Yours will be blank. And right here in the upper right, you want to create new. And so when you hit create new, it opens up this item. Now, the whole idea with Notebook LM is that you are going to add sources to the notebook. The sources that you're going to add are SA1, SA2, and then your instructor feedback. So I've written out the instructor feedback for you in sort of narrative form so that it'll be easy for you to cut and paste it into your notebook. So let me show you what I mean first before I actually upload something. Okay, so this is a student paper. And so you already have this paper downloaded to your computer, but if you don't, you can download it again from Canvas. And then when you're looking at your grades and you scroll down, you'll see that I have written out some very detailed feedback for you. And so what I want for you to do is to copy that, and then you're going to paste it into the notebook. So I'm just practicing right now, so I'm just going to use this little bit here. So in your notebook, I have an untitled notebook. I'm going to go ahead and call this essay revision. And I'm going to do one essay at a time. I'm going to start with essay 1, and I'm going to add the feedback first, and then I'll add the essay as well. So in this particular case, I can click here to upload, or if I click here to add a source, it gives me the option to paste copied text. So I'm going to hit that, and now I'm going to paste this copied text in there. And then I'm going to hit insert. And so now I have my first document. Now this is the feedback from the instructor, from me to you. All right. And so what it will do initially is summarize that feedback for you, but that's not what we want to use it for. But we have it right here. So the next thing I want to do is add my essay. So I can choose a file to upload, and then I can upload it, or I can copy the text again. So let me add some text in here. Okay, so I have my cultural identity essay and my essay feedback in here. And so I have the two items that I need to help me with my revision for essay number 1. And so you can see here is my essay, and I cut and pasted it in. It's not my essay, but it didn't hold the format, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter as far as that format goes. But that's the essay, and then this is the feedback that I got. Okay, so I have the two things that I need, and you can do this for, and you will do this for both of your essays, but I'm just going to start with one right now. So this is essay 1. So the first thing that you want to do is practice asking questions. So in the middle, make sure these both are checked. And as you scroll down, you'll see that there are some sample questions that you could ask, or you can add your own questions. And so I gave you some questions for the assignment to ask. Okay, so here is one of the questions that I posted for you to ask in your assignment for this week. Do my transitions help the story flow smoothly from one moment to the next? And if I hit enter there, it's going to answer that question for me. All right, so it gives you a ton of information. And so you can see that it says, that's a great question. And focusing on the flow of your writing is essential for engaging the reader. So based on the feedback in the source, that's over here, so the feedback that I gave you, your story has strong structural cohesion in terms of content, but the actual flow from one moment to the next, especially at the sentence level, could be improved through focused revision. And then it gives you a breakdown of how your transitions and flow are currently working according to your sources over here, the essay and the feedback that you got. And then it breaks it down for you and shows it. And then it tells you areas where transitions and flow need attention. So this is going to tell you where you can add better transitions to improve your essay, which is the goal here. Okay, so you'll read through all of this, make notes, and hopefully change your essay based on this advice that you're getting here. So another question that I posted for you in the assignment was this one. Where might readers need more context or explanation about my culture? So when I click on that one, I'm going to get a reply. And again, we get plenty of information. Now these little numbers here are just referring to your two sources. And so it's letting you know where this information came from. Now this isn't using the web at all. This is all just you, personally, your information that you inputted, and what it's feeding back to you is based on these two pieces of information that are in here. It's not looking at the web to find out suggestions. It's based on my feedback to you and your essay. And so here it talks about the blended religious background. These are all specific to this person's essay that I borrowed to use as the example. And you can see that it gives you plenty of information to help you. Now, if you like the information and you plan to use it, you can save it. So you click Save Note, and then it will pop up over here in this list. Now, one of the other cool things that it'll do is if you want to read or listen or watch the feedback that you received and your essay content together, what you can do is create what they call a audio overview. And so when you click this, it will automatically create an audio overview, and it'll look something like this.
Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us a really compelling set of sources today. We've got a student's personal essay about their cultural identity and also the detailed academic feedback.
So they're basically talking about your paper to you and explaining what you wrote about and how that feedback that I gave you, the instructor, how that is working in with your paper. The whole goal here is to help you revise, it's essay revision, how to revise this paper to make it better. So you can ask any questions that you want. Now there are some things that you can't ask it to do, and it probably won't do it in NotebookLM. But you don't want it to write your paper. You don't want it to rewrite your thesis or anything like that. You just want to ask it questions like this one. I asked, do I have any run-ons in my paper, and how can I fix it? And so I saved that response earlier, and it told me that I had some run-ons. It gave me one example out of my paper and showed me how to fix it, which I pointed out in the feedback. So that's why I gave you a long narrative of feedback so that you'd have plenty to work with in this exercise. So you can listen to your, I like to call it a podcast. You can listen to your podcast, these two made up AI people talking to you about your paper and what feedback you got on that paper. Let's close this. You can also create a video, which I didn't find very useful in this use case scenario, but basically it creates a video that does the same thing. It walks through the art of revision and talks to you about your paper, but it includes visuals. Here's a little bit of that.
You know, what's the real difference between a story that you just tell someone and a story that they truly feel?
Well, a lot of the time, it all comes down to one thing: revision. Today, we're going to look at how a student's incredibly powerful emotional story about identity went from being just raw material to an essay you just can't forget.
Okay, so they're teaching you about the revision and how the essay should have been written, but they're talking about your paper. They're talking about your words, your examples, your illustrations, etc. So let's ask it another question. are the illustrations in my essay strong enough? And how can I improve them? Okay, so I've asked that question. I'm going to hit enter and let's see what it says. All right, so it's giving me, that's an excellent focus for revision. The strength of your illustration is critical because they transform abstract ideas about your identity into concrete, relatable experiences for your reader. And so it goes on and explains why these illustrations are important, right? And then it says, based on your sources, these two sources, your illustrations are currently strong and powerful in terms of content and emotional depth. But they need refinement through editing to maximize their impact and clarity. And then it goes in to talk to you about that. And as you scroll down and read, you're getting ideas of how to improve your essay. So it's really a matter of asking the right questions. Just keep in mind that once you ask a question and it gives you an answer, you want to save that note so that it doesn't go away. But if you don't save it, all of your questions and answers will be in this middle. Don't refresh because it will erase it. Okay? So here you can see my first question that I asked. But if you do close out of this and come back later, this will be gone again. So you want to save anything over here so that it stays for you. Now, another tool is this mind map. So here I asked for it to create a mind map of this paper. And so in this particular paper, this is the main idea, cultural identity formation. These were the key elements from this student's essay. And as I break them out, you can see how each area is covered. And then it will show you if there are any weak areas. Now, this paper that I'm using as an example was a very strong paper. So it's got a clear organizational pattern that you can see here. All right, so we're going to make that low. And then, of course, I thought that was cool, so I saved it. So these are all of my saved notes down here. So your goal is to ask the questions. You can create your own questions, but I've listed about 5 questions for you in the assignment that you can just cut and paste into here. Now, here's the key thing. You're going to revise your paper in your Grammarly authorship, your Google Doc using Grammarly authorship. You don't want to be doing a bunch of cutting and pasting. This is supposed to be your tutor. You take the advice that they're giving you in this tool, NotebookLM, and then you're going back to your paper and you're making some of the suggestions of what they've asked you to do. They're not rewriting your paper for you. They're showing you some examples, but those are not the only corrections and the additions that you need to ask. In this example here where I asked it about run-on sentences, it used one particular sentence from my essay and showed how, not my essay, but this essay, and showed how to break it down into a better sentence or collection of sentences. Okay, I don't want you just to take that, put it in your paper and say, I'm done. No, now your job is to look at other sentences in your essay and see how you can do the same thing based on this example. Now, you can use NotebookLM with your personal accounts, not your school accounts, with any of your classes. Imagine your teacher, like me, asked for you to read some articles like I did last week or last module for our comparative rhetorical analysis. We could have dumped them in here and then asked questions about it. You know, how are these articles similar? Can you summarize this article for me? What is the main point of this article? This tool can help you with things like that. So we're not going to use it that way in this class, but you can use this for your other classes. But I would make sure that it is okay with your teacher, because some instructors are completely banning AI. And you know, in my class, we are learning to use it responsibly. So if you have any questions and you get lost, send me a remind message and I will answer your questions as quickly as I can so you can move on with your assignment.